This is Superintendent Bryan Frazier. January is Board Appreciation Month in the state of Oklahoma. We have been blessed in this school district to have great leadership in those individuals that have served on this board. In fact, Don Crutchfield served on the Board of Education for 50 years. He is the longest running board member in the state of Oklahoma. This year, we also are celebrating with our board members that are currently serving. We are blessed to have 5 men that are committed to the school district. President Patrick Gocher in his 11th year, Vice President Rick Mosier in his 18th year, Clerk Rod Henry in his 5th year. In his 5th year also is member Brandon Walford, and also in his 3rd year, Jeff Gettinger. These gentlemen give of their time and their energies with no personal gain, and their only focus is for the education of our students, the success of our students, and the staff that serves them. Please make sure that you spend some time this month. Send them a letter, an email, or contact them and let them know how much we truly do appreciate all of their service. It is said that serving on the Board of Education is the purest form of public service. I would 100% agree with that. We are fortunate the gentlemen that currently are serving, and we want to make sure that they know we appreciate everything they do for all of us. Not only Claremore Public Schools, but also for the community of Claremore. Thank you. It's a great day to be a zebra. It is a month that we celebrate our board. We are very, very fortunate to have the board members that we have. I'm not telling you anything you do not know. We have a great history here, obviously, with Mr. Crutchfield, served for 50 years. And for those of you who don't know, 50 years in the Board of Education is the longest running board member in state history. So we've got a long tradition, and these gentlemen that serve with us certainly are in that category as well. So we appreciate them. Thanks for being here. I'm going to turn it over to a man that's very special to everyone in Claremore. Dr. Bill Salwacker is superintendent for 15 years, 1977 to 1992, I believe.
93.
Were you 16 years?
15.
All right. Is my math bad?
No, I was 177.
All right, 177. All right. 15 years he served as superintendent. If anybody knows about boards, is a superintendent that served for 15 years. So anyway, he's going to say a few words, then we'll turn it over to a couple of board members, and then we'll start our board meeting. All right?
Well, I want you to tell them. I want you to tell them what I told you the first time I met you.
You told me that this would be the last job that I ever had. That once you've been the superintendent at Claremore, you'll never take another position.
And I'm holding to it.
All right. I pray that those 5 men are holding to it.
Well, I'm old enough to be a curmudgeon, and so I'm going to talk about the past. Not only was Don Crutchfield a long-term board member, but on time served at the board meetings, not that long, because Don Crutchfield moved the agenda. If the meeting was an hour long, you better get out of the way because the agenda was going to be moved. He was good at it, and I figure I've attended 200 of these things. And Claremore has always been fortunate to having a good board. And their most important job is hiring good help. The superintendent, they hire the superintendent, and the superintendent hires the help. And if you hire good help, you can go to those conferences in Atlantic City and Las Vegas and those kinds of places. But the secret of being a good superintendent is hiring good help. And I look around and I brag about everyone in here that I was responsible, was on the superintendent when it was hired. But I'm going to tell you how tough things were. All of you have been in the Mober building. We had to vote 2 bond issues to build that. We had a $1 million bonding capacity. What was our last bond issue?
40 million.
40 million.
Yes, sir.
We had $1 million to work with. Had to vote 2 bond issues. Cost $1,430,000 to build that building. And that was all we had. And now it's 40 million. In 1982, the state said teachers get a $2,000 raise, and we were going through revaluation, so I gave another $3,000. And then the state doesn't send the money.
Okay, that sounds familiar. That's a little close to home.
How much did you carry over last year?
10%. 10%?
What would the 10% be? 1,300,000?
No, it's 3. It's 3.
3 million?
3 or 4, yeah. 3 8.
We carried over 12,000 that year. But Broken Arrow carried over 18,000. So we didn't buy books, we didn't buy library books, we were threatened with accreditation, but we made it. So I can go on and on about tough things in this business, but as I told him, Claremore is the last place as a superintendent that you'll ever be happy, because there's no place to compare it. I could live anywhere in the world, but Claremore's home, and I could tell stories on a few people here, but I'm proud of every one of it that were there. But I was superintendent when you were hired. We have great administrators. I don't know that I had good administrators, but they couldn't compare to this much we have now. How long have you been here?
35 years,
Yes.
35 years.
Yep. She was teeny tiny when she was teaching. Little bitty thing. So it was a great time being superintendent of Claremore Schools, and until McLaren came, I held the record. He made it 17, and I made 15. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And for those of you who are not in the school business, or not in the classroom is the greatest place to be in the world. No matter how crappy the day was, all it takes is one hug.
That's
On the way up, when that kid gives you the hug, the world is okay. And so I'm happy to have been a part of Claremore, and I could tell you what this building used to look like. My superintendent's office was the size of the office back there. Debbie and Loretta were in a room the size of that table.
Benora.
And Benora, the three of them, yeah. But it's great to have been part of Claremore, and I don't know how in the world you do those $40 million bond dues, but I don't care, because the facilities are wonderful.
We're getting better.
Yeah.
We're getting better too.
So thank you for coming to hear me. And thanks for the invite.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Thanks for everything.